burden of responsibility again falls on Yike. And I admire that KC are still putting their trust in him, because Yike, 3 out of 4 games, his impact has been very minimal.
This comes in. This will be a composition that can sort of
ooh, look at this.
Pass the test of time as Junji are coming actually over the wall from the Dragon. That's a great engage from Kaiwing as Targamas completely off to the side. And now Kalisz trying to play some alcove gaming, and unfortunately it is not where he wants to be. Doggo with first blood for the second game in a row.
Just really great pathing from Junja.
About zero. I mean, Scion players are like that.
Yeah.
You know, like as soon as you have that Scion player DNA, the result of the game just isn't really a thing that you care about that much, or at least the result of the laning phase.
Ooh.
As Junji are going to have to flash away from that one. Last second on that flash.
Yeah.
But Weaver's Wall going to deliver Hongq, but unfortunately doesn't flick anyone to the other side and now finds himself in an awkward spot. Vladdy not going to be able to go any further forward though.
Situation
maybe you don't feel like it. And they can put their focus towards the Dragon that hasn't been taken just yet. As Kaiwing going to go for another engage. There's the Glacial Prison. Targamas going to have to flash. Does get the anchor out as Doggo picks it up with a double up. That is gorgeous. Kalisz going to be able to walk out of the way of the bullet time though, so Doggo not going to be getting a double. But that is exactly what CFO want. It is more money on Misfolded. He is now going to spot out Yike and Targamas moving towards this Dragon. Banana Brush control going to be there for KC. And that was a train.
That was.
Driver is he worried yet? I would be.
He popped a pop and he stopped taking damage. He's fine.
Yeah, I guess he isn't. He's also got a biscuit, which is just...
Ooh, that is good damage under Kaiwing. The pings to retreat coming through from CFO as Vladdy is a bit behind. He is close to level 9 though. Here we go.
Yeah, Winter's Wrath.
You can't contest this, Ginger. I don't think you can contest this.
Well, he is walking around. Somewhat in range, actually, but it's going to be Yike that wins the Smite War. Hook going to connect, but Targamas is sort of just 1v1ing against Doggo. Junja right in amongst it now as Vladdy trying to get out of there. The flash forward from Junja is crazy, and Targamas finds himself caught out. That's a killing spree for Doggo as Kana is towards this top side, getting something back for KC. As the flash forward from Hongq, this young man going nuts against Yike, who's taken so much damage. The threaded volley will finish him off. And Hongq says, yeah, we have a monopoly on kills this game.
4 kills to 0, and Kaiwing has set
Should be 4 of them locked down here as Yike should be able to collect them. There we go. That is grub number 1. CFO still haven't pulled the trigger just yet though. Doggo securing one of them, so it's maximum 5. And that is going to be what happens. Chains of Corruption come through, but Kaiwing turns it into engage as Driver gets a phenomenal crash, does immediately go down, and it's a double here for Yike. Junja says no, remember, we're the team that gets all of the kills as Targamas going to be the first one to be taken down. He also looks for the next as Kana's put in prison. But not going to quite be enough. The Winter's Wrath unable to catch him in Doggo. I don't know whether you want to tank 3 turret shots, and so isn't going to go any
they have
further.
to kill him quickly. This time round, with a multi-damage threat, in the front to back, sure, there is a scary front line that they have to deal with, but they have the damage in theory to deal with it.
Well, Weaver's Wall coming on through here is now Yike. He is cornered, and everything is about zoning. They knew that he was just dead to rights. And so CFO, they take down the jungler, and they now look for a Dragon. That should be going their way, unless these health bars are low enough to cause a bit of an issue. But it looks like that isn't the case. Vladdy there towards the top side, doing some split pushing, as Junja at about 50%, dueling this Chemtech Drake. Driver going to move on over, is now Kalisz! You're not going to be able to interrupt that ulti there as Junja gets over the wall, flashes back immediately as he realizes his mistake, and he will be ripped to shreds by that piercing arrow. CFO maybe bit off a little more they could chew that time around.
The Dragon getting very low. Yike on his way back, but there's no smites here.
Yeah, they do just interrupt the queue as Driver was pretty optimistic, thinking that his Scion was going to be the deciding factor there. Hongq going to be getting to work here on the top side of the map though, as second Dragon in a row here for KC is a big deal. And you can see the fans here at Lowell Park agree. This is what we're expecting. It was a bit quiet.
Getting there, forced to flash, now trapped in the pit as Kana sees an angle, and they're able to convert the fight in their favor. Ambitiously drive, back in the action.
Yeah, crash down there from Kaiwing, going the wrong direction though, as Kana might be the one that they're looking for. His health bar is relatively high, but unfortunately he can't move and he has no friends. That's Hongq taking another kill for himself, 2-0-2 now for the Talia. And CFO with full control of this Herald pit. and the gold still in their favor as well.
CFO just feels like that they go from 2 members to 5 members so fast.
Yes, instantly.
Like, they're so quick at collapsing on any single opportunity that KC, like, it's been happening throughout this series. You can't afford to rest on your laurels. The moment that you're out of position, this team will punish you for it.
Well, Driver going to come on over and get rid of all of these minions. I don't know about that one. Trains off the tracks a little bit here as Vladdy going to get rid of this turret and now go for the 1v1 that may take 7 years, but I think he might have the damage eventually unless Driver just gets towards the turret. Doesn't have the unstoppable onslaught though, as he does get that knock up. And Honkyu, he gets in there, looking for that threaded volley as Junju just sets it up for him. Man, what an alley-oop from the jungler. And this is exactly what you said. They just vacuumed all the players over.
Vladdy thought that
getting
he had
everything, then that damage problem that we were talking about possibly cropping up is just not going to be there.
CFO, I mean, I love the way that they're playing the game. They're keeping it simple and they're punishing the mistakes of KC. Then overstepping their bounds. I mean, the good news for KC is that given their early objective priority, 2 dragons means that Soul Point is much further away. KC can afford to buy a little bit more time. But crucially, like, CFO...
and as soon as someone is crossing the river, the rest of CFO all know that that's happening and are ready to collapse. And that is happening right here, as we can see. 4 members, but there's also a Scion that can turn up at a moment's notice. Bliss giving a bit of a thumbs up here as Doggo wanting to crash this way forward once again. We're getting that zoom in. Here comes the train. Chains of Corruption are going to go wide as Kalist gets that flash to get over the wall. The Glacial Prison going wide there as well as CFO. Not going to find the engage they were looking for. And you can see Yike doing a lot of damage there to Honkyu as they do make their way out, but it's not really damage what you do when you're not prepared for that level of engage. But the Dragon is going to be secured here by CFO.
Distributing the resources evenly, which means that they don't have to... I mean, they've got
5-0-2 though for the MF. That will do it as far as giving you that lead. Honkyu just put his flash. He just put his Leandries together, so he does a lot of damage, but they look for the Rel, who just says, I'm going to Magnet Storm you, and then even crashes down forward. It was a mistake because he dies, but it's going to be a win here for CFO. That is 3 on the bench for KC. And CFO might just move up towards this Ruinous Archon, grab themselves a bunch of extra levels and all of that fun stuff. And Driver will just try and hold them off.
I mean, that collapse was just so fast and so ruthless. Doggo.
It feels like every time. It's like, the collapse, and like, they're always there.
And Doggo just said, all right, bet. Like, he just threw down the ultimate and tore this opposition apart. That will be our first
all 5 champions. But there's like an individual version of his brain for all of them that are somewhat connected but can work independently. It's not just great multitasking, it's just more of him.
And Driver, as he has pretty much done throughout this game, he does not care.
Oh, right. Nice little stun is going to come through, but another Magnet Storm comes on down, and Doggo immediately flashing away from the ulti. Kalist not going to be connecting that one, and now they are moving forward. The double ups landing, and Doggo, he does so much damage. Honkyu looking for the seismic shove. Kana going to get that fat flash over the wall. That'll keep him alive. Make It Rain not doing too much there, so KC will be able to limp away, but that could just still mean Baron.
I mean, I think they have multiple damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
This is side lane Scion. And like, I know you're pretty good at understanding what Scion does in a side lane, but this is, look, he's at the inner turret, and that will go down extraordinarily quickly. I don't know, man. This is looking rough. KC, can they find the heroic engage to make something happen? Some poke damage onto Kaiwing, that's a good start, but look at this. The Weaver's Wall set players, they just push Targamas into the wall. He's forced to flash to get himself out of there. Kalist's gonna have to blow that cleanse to get out of prison. Vladdy on the top side of the map is going to make it a straight
advantage, and they swing. Even though they don't get all the early game objectives, they keep winning out on the fights, and now they find themselves securing the first tier 3 tower of the game. They've set their sights on the inhibitor, and what options do KC really have? Because if they try to go for the 5v5, I think that CFO's front to back is just stronger once again.
Yeah, this is the problem with falling behind against a composition that has 2 tanks, right? I mentioned the fact that there might be damage issues, but not anymore, right? These tanks are even doing more damage, and the problem is, if this style of composition gets ahead, it is so much harder. I cannot wait to see more of this team as we get deeper into first stand, because I've heard some pretty big talk about Honkyu and what he has. Is now Kalist in trouble once again, and just picked off and destroyed. Another gorgeous shove there from Honkyu, the man we were just talking about. Man, I think he might have heard us. Says, oh, you mean me? Let me just grab another couple of kills. 4-0-6 now for the Talia. They'll take down the last remaining inner turret. They're going to look for another inhibitor. Baron or no Baron, they are going to break another section of this base, and KC just left scratching their heads at this point in the series. It's been a whirlwind, and CFO have just left them in the dust.
CFO have made it look easy. A convincing game too, with very few windows of opportunity. They continue to punish, and it's just the fact that Junja's just such an effective driving force. He finds good angles to make plays happen. 1-1-11, the scoreline for him.
And Vladdy going to be able to stop Doggo, but look at all of these engages as stopped. Vladdy does manage to get a decent ulti and gets himself out of there, but Yike could pay the price. The AoE is going to be there, but when there's no follow-up, it does not matter, and they trickle in one after the other, but CFO stay as a unit to defend their damage dealer. This might be a little bit of an overstep as Honkyu just goes golden, and Driver is going to do exactly as his name dictates. They take a blast cone. That is going to break up the fight a little bit. And a Weaver's Wall, speaking of breaking things up, actually might be able to create some space here. But CFO, I don't, like, the health bars are low, guys. I understand your confidence.
CFO was trying to go back to base. They were trying to show them a mercy. Kana, at the very least, will get a pick.
Yeah. Shock Blast is going to be able to lock down Honkyu. Going to die for the first time. Also gets rid of some pages in that book. And now Junji, I don't know about that flash, as, yeah, the train is going to be able to tidy up some of them. Doggo with the bullet time gets flashed out of there by Targamas, as once again over the wall goes Vladdy. And CFO, just go back home. Let's spend some of that gold. Let's calm down a little. We're trying to sing. They might be thinking something like that. The Baron is probably going to be the one that goes away first, though. As you can see, not a whole lot of avenues in for this one. There's Kana, not going to be able to stop it. So the Purple Worm delivered towards CFO. And now one inhibitor lies between them and the enemy Nexus. As Targamas thinking about going for heroic engage. Junja able to get out of the way. The Chains of Corruption, that's some buttons on cooldown now. As the Glacial Prison, it'll ring true. Doggo has to cancel his ulti early, but these autos are doing so much. And Honkyu from over the wall finds another flick. Driver, I don't know about that one, but he gets a big old shield. Let's see whether he is going to go down. Does eventually go into that passive, but honestly, it works out just the way CFO wanted. And they're looking at a 2-0 in their debut match here at First Stand. What an incredible performance from this team.
Absolutely incredible. Convincing, coordinated, and well executed from start to finish. CFO looking strong in their first best of 3.
Yep, taking down the Nexus now as Targamas just looks to try and escape. And unfortunately, that is not going to escape the end of this game. Honkyu does the honors. The youngest player of the tournament will be able to grab that 50 gold for taking down the Nexus.